Everyone, welcome to the show. I have a special guest today. I have Jeff from Good Morning Comrade, and he is also one of the other not co-hosts, but additional hosts over on This Space TV. So, which I think I've mentioned to you guys numerous times. If you haven't checked that out, please head over there as well. Subscribe. It is, we're trying to get it to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, progressive news and other stuff too. There's other fun stuff to kind of, if you're burnt out on politics, as we all are at this point. But anyway, welcome, Jeff. It's great to see you. Great to talk with you.
Yeah, great talking with you as well. I think we met on the night of the Zoran Mondani's victory on the This
Yeah.
Big Brady Bunch party.
Yeah. Yeah. We were
Yeah,
part of the progressive bunch.
yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's really nice to meet you. As you were saying, my name is Jeff. I am currently located in Richmond, Virginia. I host a show that actually broadcasts in New Orleans, Louisiana on WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3 called Good Morning Comrade. You can also check us on all the podcast stuff, and you can also check us out on YouTube, Twitch, etc. Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for making the time. So I was telling Jeff before we started recording, I really wanted to talk about what's going on in Israel, but not, specifically the genocide, the starvation of the people there, but our politics here in the United States, the hypocrisy, of course, on the right, but also even some on the left, because they're getting that APAC cash,
Mm-hmm.
and so they got to keep their big money donors happy. But yeah, so Jeff, I'm sure you've seen or heard that the Senate, there were two bills that were put forth by Bernie Sanders and I forget who the other senator was, but the Senate rejected these bills to halt the sale of bombs and rifles to Israel. So there were more, to their credit, there were more Democrats who voted along with them to halt the sale of this aid. But yeah, it was still far too many. There were still 19 that voted against it.
Yeah, there were 19 Democrats, and it is, if we have the list, we should definitely name and shame each and every one of those Democrats that voted for supplying those weapons to Israel. Obviously, it would not have passed, but it is important that we recognize that we should not be sending arms to a country that's doing a genocide.
Yeah.
It's also important to, like, even while this is awesome, and Bernie Sanders has been one of the most sort of like interesting and also like at the same time frustrating people on this issue, in my opinion, at least, because he definitely does like parrot a lot of the rhetoric that Zionists roll out when it comes to the genocide in Palestine, in Gaza specifically. But I mean, you can very easily make this case that the same thing is happening in slow motion in the West Bank. But he's definitely always sort of like rolled out the Israel has the right to defend itself language, and really sort of like kind of qualifying a lot of his critiques of Israel. However, at the same time, he's one of the like only people that have the guts in all of Congress, along with people like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, who are constantly and strongly standing for, for the people of Palestine and against what Israel is doing over there. And I would say AOC on that, and she's been largely on the right side of that, except for like one recent vote, which was just horrible, and then some very questionable statements that she made at the DNC. However, by and large, again, she's been one of the better people on that as well. But Congress is a disaster when it comes to that. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is by no stretch either one acting in good faith or two like any kind of a long-term ally, has at least been aware enough to put her finger in the air and realize where the political winds are blowing, and just suddenly deciding that she's anti-war. Now, obviously, she's framing it as she doesn't want to spend any kind of like money that would otherwise go to like the Gestapo, that is ICE in this country. That's where she wants the money that's going to Israeli bombs to go. But at the same time, she's sort of like using this framing of being anti-war, which you also saw that Donald Trump was able to do in the election.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Democrats are really like, I'm sorry, like they're really sort of advocating any kind of opposition to what's going on, and really giving the entire ball to the Trump administration, who they're supposed to hate.
Oh, I know. I mean, when you have Candace Owens and Marjorie Taylor Greene as the voice of reason, what are we doing? Like, what are you thinking, Democrats? You know, and yeah, there were three Democratic senators, I should mention, who didn't vote at all.
Oh yeah.
Which is so interesting, right? So let me bring this up for everybody to see that what we're saying is true. 19 Senate Democrats voted to keep arming these genocidal maniacs. But yeah, interestingly, Ruben Gallego, Mark Kelly, and Elissa Slotkin did not vote for or against this bill.
Well, Slotkin was busy. She had to be on Colbert.
Yeah, she was too busy with her media appearances. And just, I want my audience to understand, if they haven't heard about these bills. Basically, I'm going to read to you what it said in this article. One of the bills, SR Res 34, that would have prohibited the sale of $675 million in weapons to Israel, such as 1,000-pound bombs and joint direct attack munition guidance kits used in airstrikes. So we're not talking about defensive weapons. We are talking about offensive weapons. And then there were 17 Democrats who also voted against the Second Amendment, SJR 41. So that would have prohibited the sale of fully automatic assault rifles to Israel. Again, these are not defensive weapons. They're being used for offense, and not even just offense, to slaughter people, who are starving, whose children and babies are starving, and they're just trying to get food. And here's what I don't get. This is not even like, they're not even making, Democrats, they're not even making the smart political move, because there was just a Gallup poll that came out. Did you see this?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let me see if I have it here. Oh, I do. Okay. So 32% overall of U.S. residents back U.S. military action in Gaza. Or the U.S. backing, I should say, of Israel's military action.
60%
32%. This is so stupid, just even if we're talking cynically and on a political level, and by party. Let me bring this up. This was the breakdown. So only 25% of independents, 8% of Democrats, and 71% of Republicans approve and like what's going on there and our support of Israel. I mean, just like I said, from a political, cynical standpoint, what the hell are Democrats thinking?
I mean, it does give absolute, like, it shows that Chuck Schumer has failed in his mission to make the left of center in America supporters of Israel, which was his mission. He literally said that years ago. Absolute and abject. Just another thing that Chuck Schumer has failed at, I suppose.
It's a good thing. Good thing, I guess, that he sucks at this job, right? We should be happy that he's so bad at it.
What else does he like? Not what else is he trying to get? Like, what else is on his agenda? Like, let's check him out and see how badly he's doing on that. Is he trying to prevent Medicare? Actually, he's doing a pretty good job of preventing Medicare for all. Now,
that's popular.
True. Obviously, that's one of the things that are. He's really good at maintaining the status quo as far as policy, but completely destroying and undermining his own popular base, and that's really truly incredible. Now, another thing, again. On the Republican side, when you had that point up that it said that 71% of Republicans
Mm-hmm.
are in favor of the military action in Gaza that the United States is undertaking right now, or at least the support for what Israel is doing.
Mm-hmm.
That tells me that even with all these shenanigans that somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing, when the rubber meets the road, policy ain't changing on that either. Donald Trump is not going
Yeah.
to suddenly flip on Netanyahu when 71% of his base is supporting 100%. I
You
think
know
that's
what? I would question that though.
okay.
And here's why I think this is a very dangerous situation, not just for Democrats, but also for Trump and the Republicans, because I think they're misunderstanding. They need to go back and look
Mhm,
at who actually voted for Trump in 2024.
mhm,
Because, yes, of course, it was pretty much, every Republican, sans the, never Trumpers.
mhm.
But
And a lot of
I,
them might have voted for Trump too, just like they wouldn't have talked about it.
yeah, that's true. They're undercover, low down Trump voters.
Mhm,
But I think that they're misunderstanding their coalition because I think, especially with the younger people who voted for Trump, a
mhm,
lot of them are independents. They're not Republicans. They don't align with either party.
mhm,
They don't feel like either party really speaks for them or encapsulates their worldview. And so I think they're really misunderstanding their mandate here.
mhm,
I think that they don't understand how much they're turning off the independent voters who went for Trump, whether it be because they lean right or because they are, younger and truly independent and they just don't, align with either side, or the people who are, third party that, or even like the Green Party people, some of them who just voted for Trump because of RFK Jr. and Maha and all of that. And because that's what I'm seeing, like in the, in on Twitter and Reddit. I lurk in those areas looking at their conversations because I use them in my FAFO videos.
mhm.
And that's what I see a lot is that people who are like, you know what, I took a chance on this guy, wasn't 100% sold, but, I voted for him for this or that. But, this Israel stuff is just bullshit.
Mhm.
So, yeah, and here's the thing too that I've mentioned before on the show, but it's been a while. I think we forget that the true, like, registered Republicans, it's shrinking.
Mhm.
So you can see, people go, oh my God, 80%, 90% of them still support him. Okay, but 80, 90% of what?
Yeah.
If you have
Yeah, that's a
10, you know,
smaller yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you have 10 people and yeah, 8 or 9 of them are voting for him, wow, that's horrible.
Mhm,
But if that 10 shrinks down to 7,
mhm.
you just lost 3 that are not in the cult, that don't agree with this crap. And the remaining 7 now is like, oh my God, it's 100% support.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you lost
They've been
3.
totally radicalized.
Yeah.
I do, that's an interesting point I didn't really consider. However, I also, at the same time, and this is why what the Democrats are doing is so freaking infuriating, is because
Hmm.
they are polling at like 30%, like the worst that they have in like
Yeah.
70 years with their just roll over and play dead strategy. This idea that they can just sort of like, I mean, honestly, it feels to me like they've just decided to let the Trump administration off the leash and discipline. Like, oh yeah, you fucked around and you found out. I'm sorry if
Yeah.
can I curse on here?
Oh,
you,
yeah, yeah.
you
I
fucked
do.
around and you found out, American people. This is what happened when you don't vote blue, no matter who. And that's what their
Hmm.
strategy is. It's not necessarily to combat the conservatives; it's to just discipline their base. And quite
Yeah, that's a
frankly,
good
it
point.
is at least so far for them. I mean, obviously it's an immoral strategy, but as far as a
Yeah.
political strategy as to whether or not it's going to work, I don't think it's going to either. Like,
No.
why would you look at the people who just like decided that, oh, the people that needed a lifeline, they're reaching out and say, hey, Democrats, do something, actually fight back, and the people were just like, no, fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see this with so many of the standard issue Democrats who are like, "Oh, I'm just going to, walk the line, not going to take a position, not going to,
Cowards, a lot of them.
yeah, complete and total cowards." They just, and I always say, you stand in the middle of the road too long, you get run over.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time. And, perfect example of that is the woman who the Democratic Party is trying to hold up as the future of the Democratic Party. Oh, she's so great. She is our beacon, she's what the Democrats need to be. And it's so, of course, I'm talking about Elissa
Yeah.
Slotkin. Um, and the Never Trumpers also love her
Yeah.
because she's so standard issue, middle of the road, milk toast,
CIA.
yeah, yeah, boring as hell.
I saw it on the interview. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like I
Oh,
saw
go
on
ahead.
the Colbert report when she was talking to him, when instead of voting against the
Yeah,
arms, the bombs embargo and the
yeah.
rifle embargo,
Instead of voting against a
yeah.
genocide,
Which, by
yeah.
the way, she did a long like effort post on Twitter trying to say like,
Hmm.
actually, I would have voted for it or whatever. It's
Oh
like one of
my
those long
God.
block texts that I am not going to read. But regardless of that, like she went on to Stephen Colbert show, and I know we're going to talk about breaking points in a minute. But
Yeah.
she went on. This was like after she went on Colbert show and talked about how the CIA are just like cornbread hot dog eating Americans, just like you and me. It's one of the funniest things I'd
Oh
ever
my
seen in my entire
God.
life. By the way,
Wow.
my co-host Robert, we did a long video like watching this entire thing. If you check it out on our YouTube, Good Morning Comrade. But he said it at the very
Mm,
beginning, and I cannot unsee it now. She looks like
hmm.
Allison Hannigan, the actress, and I just from
I don't
American
think I know.
Pie and How I Met Your Mother. The one time
Oh
the band camp girl.
yeah. Oh my God. The redhead.
Yes, or
Yeah,
she was
from Buffy the Vampire
She was
Slayer.
Willow. Yeah, she was Willow, and I love her,
Okay.
by the way. She was a great actress.
Yeah, yeah,
Very, very good character actor.
yeah, yeah. Oh no, now I don't like that comparison because I do like her. I do like that
I
actress.
can't unsee it. I cannot unsee it.
Oh no. Oh my God. Okay. So I'm gonna play because I don't know if my audience saw this. I've told all of them like you got to watch Breaking Points.
Gotta
I
watch it.
don't know. I'm hoping they are, but yeah. Just to set this up for the audience, Elissa Slotkin reached out to Breaking Points, which is a show I listen to every day as I'm getting ready to do my show. Um, and asked to be on. So they didn't reach out to her. She asked to be on. She was asked like, why? Why did you want to come on?
That was Crystal's first question. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Why did you
yeah.
want
It's
to come talk
very
to us?
clear to me. Like she didn't know what she was getting herself into because she did herself no favors with this interview. Like she just ruined herself. Like I would
Utter
never.
destruction.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would never in a million years vote for this woman for president. Not ever. Ever, ever, ever. And you guys are going to see part of the reason why. But yeah, she goes on, they bring up Israel, they bring up the genocide, and her answers starts off like I'm thinking, oh, maybe she's going to do okay. Just completely shows herself to be a complete hypocrite. So I'm going to start playing it. If you want to jump in at all, Jeff, let me know and I'll stop it and we can discuss.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
as we key it up, what like just watch Crystal Ball this entire time. She is an absolute lion, just playing with her prey the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Krystal, I just absolutely love her. She does an amazing job of destroying people, taking them down, showing them for the hypocrites that they are. And on this topic, she is like like just over the top pissed off about this. And she keeps her anger under control very
Yeah.
well, but you can tell like she's just like infuriated by some of these answers that
Yeah.
Slotkin gives.
And part of
So,
the reason she's able to do that is because of how she looks. Like she's like a middle-aged lady who just sort of like is good on television, and she looks like somebody who might be just like non-threatening or something like that. And she
mhm,
comes for their neck. It is so cool. I
yeah,
love it.
yeah. Okay, so I'll start playing. Like I said, if you want to interject, just let me know,
Mhm.
and I might stop it because I definitely have some thoughts.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Do you accept that Israel has a policy of enforced famine and starvation in the Gaza Strip?
I think I literally put my name on a letter yesterday or last night that says like a policy of starvation, people are starting to starve. The occupying power has a responsibility to get aid into the war zone, period.
So,
by the law of war.
so in addition, do you accept that the Israeli
Oh, did you want to say
Oh
something?
no, I just like the framing. What she's calling it a war zone when like you're
Yeah.
literally talking about neighborhoods, hospital. Well, it used to be neighborhoods, hospitals, and schools. Now it's just camps and rubble and unfortunately like dying people in craters. But like
Yeah.
that's how she is still framing. What is the site of a genocide? What has been called for many years a concentration camp? She's
Mhm.
describing it as a war zone, and I think that's really important to point out just the words that the specific words that Slotkin decides to use are
Mhm.
very carefully chosen.
Well, and you're going to hear everybody because you've already seen this, Jeff, but
Mhm.
you're going to hear her completely like refute her own argument
Mhm.
because at the end of this clip that I cut, she then says, "Well, this isn't an active war going on. Like,
Mhm.
there's no
Yeah.
attack going on right now." So she completely contradicts herself in this
Yeah.
same interview, like within 5 minutes.
Like
So,
absolutely rootless. Her arguments are absolutely rooted in nothing. It's literally just responding to what's in front of you. And there's
yeah.
no sort of like fundamental position that she has other than in this interview other than to survive
Hmm.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I should point out for my audience, I didn't clip this part of it, but Krystal does bring up like her APAC support, which for
Mhm.
anybody who doesn't know, that is the Israel lobby, which basically owns all of our Congress members in the House and in the Senate, with rare exception. Progressives, of course, don't take money from them, but Slotkin vehemently denies that she is, taking money from APAC. She's like, oh, initially when I first ran, some of their members supported me, but I don't, I'm not aligned with them. They didn't endorse me, blah, blah, blah. But then what I found interesting, I don't know if you caught this, Jeff, at
Mhm.
one point she referred to APAC. She said that my colleagues in that group,
Oh,
or
interesting.
she used, yeah, I don't know if
Little
she used the
slipperoo
term,
there.
yeah, I don't remember if she used the word colleagues, but she used a similar, if not that word, it was a similar
Mhm.
term. And I was like, what? Like this is an outside lobbying group.
For a foreign country, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, not even an American lobbying group. And you're calling them your colleagues? Like but you're saying you're not aligned with them, they don't control you. Okay. Okay, so here's more of the interview.
plan, as reported by Haaretz, as discussed openly by ministers like Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, as backed by the President of the United States, is forced ethnic cleansing?
I think we have, as recently as yesterday, the Prime Minister of Israel talking about forced migration into certain areas and then potentially out of the country. That is not legal. That is not on any international standard since World War II. And I've been clear about that.
What are you
Not
going to
legal.
do?
Sorry, to pause it.
Oh, it's
Not
okay.
legal. She says it's not legal. She's focusing on the legality of it, which
Mhm.
like we know how international criminal court functions. Benjamin Netanyahu has already been basically classified as a war criminal, right?
Yeah.
And like she's talking about the law side of it. What are you going to do? Like if what they're doing is not legal, what are you going to do about it? You're a United States senator.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but, and I think I have it in this clip, but again, she contradicts herself because she says, oh, well, it's not legal. But then Krystal brings it up to her that, well, you voted to sanction the ICC
Yep.
for saying that what Netanyahu is doing is illegal and that these are war crimes and he should be arrested.
Yes.
So it's like you're saying it's not legal, but then you're telling the cops,
Oh my
so to
God.
speak, don't arrest this guy. You should not arrest this guy.
I hope you have the clip. I hope you have the clip in here where she talks about allies as well, because I want to talk about that.
Okay, yeah, I think I cut part of it, but let me see.
Because so far what we've seen, I mean, you voted for some of the aid that's been used to massacre children and innocents. You know, you have backed Israel, as far as I can tell, you know, from your voting record at almost every turn. You voted for a definition of anti-Semitism that would, you know, codify anti-Zionism as anti-Semitism. You voted as a member of the House to sanction the ICC for indicting Benjamin Netanyahu, who you just admitted is a war criminal, you know, by your own words. So are you going to join Senator Angus King, Senator Bernie Sanders in saying no more aid to this country that is committing war crimes against innocent civilians?
Right now, Democrats own nothing in Washington. So
Don't play powerless with me.
I'm
You're a
not-
United States senator.
I
There are
understand,
things you
but-
can do.
And-
Sure.
That is so good because she tried to do the thing that Democrats always try to do,
Yeah.
which
But
is
we're
be like,
so
I'm a small
Yeah.
being. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
The Republicans control everything. You no, like you are a United States senator. You have tremendous power and influence to do this, and you can, if you actually cared about these kind of things, maybe instead of going on breaking points and sort of like talking out of both sides of your mouth, why don't you use the bully pulpit and actually criticize the Netanyahu administration and criticize the Trump administration for their policies? If that's,
Yeah.
what, I mean, that is literally a part of what you could do as a senator.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but she kind of makes the perfect point against herself in that she's saying, oh, well, I don't have, you know, we're in the minority. We don't have really any power. Okay, well, first of all, you did have the power. Biden was the president. And initially, when you guys took over, you had tons of power. You still squandered it, albeit the war hadn't started at that point. But they don't do anything with their power when they do have all branches of government. And then on top of that, even more so, why it shouldn't be difficult for you to step up and take a vote against it or speak out against it, because what is his harm? Like, let's say Slotkin was just being completely cynical, just a political actor, and said, you know what? I want to put out this persona like I really care about this genocide, but at the same time still give weapons to Israel. This would be the perfect time to do that because you don't have power. But you still won't even speak out against it. You still aren't even stepping up and saying that you give a shit about children and babies starving to death and being blown up. So it's like, no, you really don't care. You truly don't.
And again, this is part of why she's cynical, but like not cynical in the way that she will like step up and do anything about it. Like this is why Marjorie Taylor Greene is running rings around the Democrats. I mean, quite frankly.
It's sad. Yeah, it's sick. It's pathetic. It really is pathetic that like they're allowing Marjorie Taylor Greene to take the moral high ground on starving freaking babies. It's unbelievable. I mean, this party is just pathetic and feckless,
to say the least. Yes.
Yeah. So here, let me back it up a little.
I cannot unsee Allison Hannigan. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I know. Now I'm seeing it. Oh my God. Oh no. Okay. This is not
We
good.
won't hold it against you, Allison. We love you.
I
You're a
know.
great
Yeah, we
actress.
do. We love you.
Powerless with me.
I'm
You're a
not
United
gonna-
States Senator.
I
There are
understand,
things you can
but
do.
in terms of who runs our foreign policy, I just think it's interesting, right, that there was a ton of protests when Democrats were in charge.
There was a protest in Manhattan yesterday.
Okay. I think it's fair to say, just to be honest, that back and forth, like the number of protests that go on now versus before.
Well,
is
they were
very
part of
different.
your political coalition.
Well, that's Senator
fair.
Slotkin.
You know what?
Saagar
I
just
want to make a
jumping
point
in.
here because I, yes, you know, Saagar is right that that was part of the coalition. We also had a very different type of atmosphere in the United States at that time. Biden was the president. He wasn't trying to throw people out of the country for protesting against the genocide. He wasn't arresting people, detaining people for speaking out against Israel and the genocide. There weren't laws being put in place that, you know, sanctioning people for and colleges for speaking out against the genocide. I mean, sure, her argument is ridiculous.
Mhm.
It's like, do you not see what's going on? Have you been awake, you know, during the Trump presidency? Yeah, people are afraid now to speak out. I mean, you had, you know, people like Mahmoud Khalil,
Yeah.
who missed the birth of his first child because he spoke out against the genocide.
Yep.
So,
And,
yeah.
and again, it's not like there aren't resistance to it. And I mean, you live on the West Coast. You live near Los Angeles, right? You
mhm.
have seen the community come out and stand with immigrants. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like the people on the street who actually care about things like ICE detention and protesting against the genocide that's happening in Gaza and the U.S.'s involvement in that. But like also like that is happening. You're just choosing to deny that it is straight up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's such convenient excuses that she's making that are just
Yeah. And
paper
also
tigers.
it flips the blame as well, and the Democrats love doing this.
Mhm.
It's never their fault. It's never their policy. They've never lost an election their entire life. It's
Yeah.
because they were protesting against the war or the genocide. That's why we lost. It's because
Yeah.
they said defund the police. That's why we got creamed in the midterms or whatever.
Yeah.
The Democrats would win every single election if it wasn't for the voters and the people who lived here.
Yeah. And you know what? And I just thought of something. This shows Slotkin, and I probably would have said this to her. So are you a follower then?
Mhm.
You're not a leader then. Why are you a senator if
Yeah.
you're not a leader? Because what I hear you saying is, well, we had so many protests before, that would have given you cover. Is that your excuse? Like you would step up, you would say something about this genocide and the slaughter and murder of innocent people if you had more protests on the street? Shouldn't you as a human being give a damn about people and lives and step up and do the right thing whether or not there's protests?
Mhm. Well, quite frankly, it's just an insult to everybody's intelligence. It really is. She thinks we're stupid. Like
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be like that, but it's the reality. She thinks that the American people are stupid and they're going to fall for this, and they're not. And more, you're seeing that. I mean, it's reflected in the polling that Democrats are polling at the worst that they have in several decades. And the
Yeah.
reason for that is because they look at their base, they look at anybody who could be potential supporters of them, and they hold them in absolute contempt, and they literally try to dictate to that constituency
Mhm.
to that constituency what they should want, and not the
Yeah.
other way around.
Exactly. And I think the right, especially MAGA,
Mhm.
is misunderstanding that as well,
Mhm.
because they see these polls, and I see it in my comment section. You know, people go, oh, well, you guys, look at your approval rating of the Democratic Party. It's in the dirt, blah, blah, blah. You guys are going to lose in the midterms. And it's like, no, you're completely misunderstanding why they have such a low approval.
Yeah.
It's not because we just think they suck at governing. They
Which they
do, but it's because they're not listening to us.
Yeah.
They're not representing us. It's because, I mean, the reason the Republican Party has such a high approval is because they are listening to their base. Whether we like it or not, and we typically don't, it's, they're monsters, but they are doing what their base wants them to do.
Yeah, you want
So-
nativist immigration policy. You want people
Yeah.
just thrown into detention. You want clampdowns on human rights. Oh, we can provide that for you, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, what? No bridge is too far. Like we will go as low and as deep and disgusting as you want us to.
Yeah. Say less.
And we will not question the dear leader or apricot antichrist. But, but on the left, it's, just go sit down. We know what's best. Don't worry your little pea brains about it. We're going to do what's right for you.
You remember the first Trump term where every time Trump, you don't see it as much this time. Maybe I'm just not on the email list as much as I was, but every time you would see like Trump do a Muslim ban or something horrible, you would get like an email from the Democrat list being like, "Hey Jeff, it's Nancy. We really need your help. We need $5 to stop Trump's agenda."
Yeah. Yeah, I still get a ton of text messages and emails from them. But yeah, not as much about what Trump is doing, but yeah, just, the MAGA agenda in general. But yeah, I mean,
again, and sorry to keep jumping in like this, but if anybody does pay attention to somebody, I want to give credit for this. Sam Cedar, he says very, very much that like focusing so much on the MAGA agenda, just specifically, and not Republicans more broadly, because they're all culpable. Essentially, it's an attempt to separate Trump from the Republicans, and so when he's eventually gone, they have an opportunity to be rehabilitated. They can essentially say,
true.
like Obama had said for years, "Oh, the fever's broke, and now we can have a real engagement with this, nativist party that we've been, going along with all the time." And again,
Yeah.
I want to keep talking, like hammering on this dynamic, and I know we want to get back to the video. I'm just being a very
it's
big
okay.
yapper right now, but we've also seen that this sort of like soft strategy that the Democrats have used when they've come, even in the first term with Trump, when Biden got elected, what was the immigration policy that they tried to put forward, which was essentially the Trump policy, just with the Democrat. It had blue on the letterhead instead of red,
Yeah.
It had a donkey on it instead of an elephant.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need to really refer to it as the MAGA party and not the Republican Party anymore, so that people understand that it is the entirety of the right in Congress.
And if anybody else, like what's that guy, the Massey or whatever, they're the exception and not the rule.
Yeah. Yeah, and even he's not,
No, he sucks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things like the Epstein thing and, a couple of other issues because he's more of a libertarian. But other than that, he fits right in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let me play more of this hypocrisy.
That's fair. Obviously, I'm here.
Yeah.
I was very upset over the Biden administration policy. And as you can tell, I'm very upset over the Trump administration policy.
Yeah.
So let's deal not in strawman, but me
Okay,
and
but
here
in
and now.
terms of so the tools that I have, the tools that we have in general, to me, the most important thing is a pressurized campaign to get aid into people who are starving. That to me is the number one, because that's the one is.
Okay. A pressurized campaign to get aid in.
Yeah.
Not just like, and again, this is not even focusing on me. Obviously, you need to get aid in. It's no focus at all on what Israel is doing. No focus at all on Israel having created this crisis and their culpability in it. But also, like, she's doing consultant speak from the perspective of she's like coming up with these sort of like steps that sound like steps. These sort of like buzzwords, like a pressurized campaign,
Yeah.
to make it sound like she actually is doing something. Everybody in their freaking mama knows they need to get aid in there. What does a pressurized campaign mean? It's just words.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would have asked her. So what does that look like?
Yeah.
Like, how do you define a pressurized campaign? Like,
because if it's
are
the
we going to
sorry.
put him in a crock pot? Like,
Yeah.
what are you saying? The only pressure that you can apply to Israel is cutting off their aid.
Yeah.
I mean, we have no other tools with them. He doesn't care. It's not like you can shame him into doing what you want. I mean, it's so obvious what their goal is, and that is the only thing that is the only wet towel that we can snap across his ass to get his attention, is cutting off the aid and saying, you know what, you want to go start wars with every country in the region? Go for it, but you're not doing it on our dime.
And also, like you say, a pressurized campaign, like they already do have, allegedly these distribution sites where they're just like shooting into crowds. Like that's a pressurized distribution. That sounds pretty pressurized to me. But
Yeah.
like you're not talking about bringing back UNRWA, which you decided to just completely defund and vilify. Like that would be a concrete step. Actually having these entities that are not run by the Israeli government, the key belligerent in this genocide,
Yeah.
and having them control the aid, that I mean, I'm not a legal scholar or anything like that, but I've heard people say that that's a war crime. So like,
Yeah.
why are you allowing this to take place? Why are you not talking about that and the horrific implications of what happens when people try to get food and aid, and not like, why don't you talk about that instead of like talk about a pressurized campaign, whatever the hell that means?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, they just, like you said, they just use words. It's just like word salad. And I'm just going to say so many words that you're going to forget that I actually didn't make a point. that I didn't have any verbs in my sentence
Yeah,
that
they
mean
try to do like
anything.
a vampire glamour or something.
Yeah. And we could easily say, okay, you know what? We want our press in there, and we want
Oh, yeah.
our people in there administering this aid to the Palestinians. And unless you do that, unless and until that happens, you get not a dime from the American government.
Yeah.
Watch how fast that changes.
Yeah.
Watch how freaking fast Netanyahu goes, oh, yeah, okay, if that's what it's going to take. Because he doesn't want this war to end.
No,
because that
because-
means he goes to prison.
Yes.
Because he has been indicted on corruption charges.
Domestic,
So
yes.
it is absolutely in his best interest to keep this going.
Yeah, if October 7th had not happened, he would probably have had to find a reason to create another one. I mean, like,
Yeah.
that was sort of the perfect out for him specifically, because then he could just create a forever war that lasts at least long enough till he can, secure his escape or maybe die in power or something.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we have to be realistic about how October 7th went down. I mean, every report, and I'm talking even from mainstream media, MSNBC, has said he was funding Hamas.
Oh,
He
yeah,
was
decades. New York
giving
Times
money.
reported on that years ago.
Yeah, he was giving money to Hamas, giving it to Qatar, and then they were funding Hamas with his approval, with his knowledge, because he knows they are the perfect foil. They
Yeah.
are the perfect enemy to say, oh, see, I have to stay in power because I have to stop Hamas, and they're so horrible and dangerous. I'm not saying they're not, but why are you funding them then? And he also, his government had these war plans. They had the October 7th attack plans at least a year in advance, and they ignored them and actually pulled people from that area, pulled IDF soldiers from that area and put them somewhere else. And then, in this tiny little country that's the size of what? I forget what
New Jersey.
state. Yeah, like New Jersey. It takes you 12 hours to get to people to help them. Yeah, there's so much about that doesn't add up, that no one has ever explained. And we get these bullshit answers from Israel of, oh, we're investigating it. we're going to get to the bottom of this.
We'll
Really?
investigate it. We got to destroy all the evidence first.
Yeah. Yeah. How many years has it been? Are you really that slow at investigating yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, so here's more of Slotkin, or we'll call her Willow from now on.
Sorry, Willow.
Urgent and today. And that,
But will you cut off aid to Israel so long as they're committing crimes against humanity?
there is a difference between a weapon to protect a country from incoming missiles versus other type. Offensive and defensive weapons are different.
If you were asked to support defensive weapons for Iran, defensive weapons for Russia, you wouldn't back that.
No, but Iran, but
They're defensive. They're just protecting civilians, right? So how is it different?
But because Israel's being shot at.
So is Russia.
So is Iran.
Yeah.
So is Russia.
Ukraine's shooting at.
Did you
want to say something?
Would you support defensive weapons for Gaza? Because they're killing civilians. They're being shot at.
Yeah. Yeah. It is so absurd. I mean, her arguments are just so absurd.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like you haven't just voted for defensive weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And they're dragging us into the war with Iran because they attacked Iran, because they decided that no, Iran is a problem. So we're going to, I've said this so many times, but I'll repeat it again. They're like the kid with the big mouth who goes out and starts fights with everybody, and then they go running to their bigger friend to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, so-and-so wants to beat me up. It's like, yeah, because you're an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, stop being an asshole. Like,
yeah, and they're the trust fund kid that needs money to get their weapons to fight their enemies for them.
Yeah,
the people that they pissed off, their self-created enemies.
Yeah, and and here's the thing: I was such a big Israel supporter.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of my audience knows I've been plant-based for almost 14 years now. They have a huge vegan population in Israel. And one of the reasons is because of the Holocaust, because they see, at least that's what they said, they see other living beings as being worthy of life and not incarcerating other living beings, not just humans, not taking their lives for no reason. And so I had always supported them and appreciated their country and loved them. And now to see, like, I know there are some people in the country who are protesting against this, but nowhere near enough.
Yeah.
And it's sickening to me. It's stomach churning to see how quickly these people who had such a reverence for human life and life in general to all of a sudden throw all of their principles, all of their ethics out the window and go, well, people on that side of the fence did something horrible and atrocious, so now we have to kill all of them.
Yeah.
Like, they've just lost their moral clarity.
Yeah. And it may not have been something that has been sort of like obviously the average Israeli citizen is probably, not nearly as genocidal as the state government is right now.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of the sort of barbarian at the gates, like fear mongering that happens it pervades every part of Israeli society from its inception. Really does, like, it's almost like that's just expected. It's like those people are animals, and it's really, really, again, you would even think the vegan population would care that they were animals, but it really is just sort of a really strong disconnect, which I will say predates October 7th. But yeah, it really got cranked to 11 for that.
Yeah, I have a friend who her husband travels a lot for business, and he has traveled a lot to Israel. And she told me years ago that he would come back and he would say how horribly the Palestinian people are treated in Israel,
Oh yeah.
and how they're just treated as subhuman. And it's
It's
disturbing.
it's kind of hard to call them second class citizens, because like second class citizens would like it almost feels like like they're below that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like
Uh,
they treat them like they're like some kind of like nuisance of some kind.
yeah. It's just disturbing. And I think too, what bothers me, it makes me think like more Israeli people do agree with this and are on board with this than what is being reported. We've seen them rise up. Like when Netanyahu tried to shut down essentially their country's Supreme Court, there was mass uprising in the street. Like people, I don't know if you remember, but like people flooded the streets and had a complete meltdown over that. And now they're just like,
Yeah, whatever.
yeah, like, well, what are we gonna do? It's our government. It's like, no,
Yeah.
like you need to, at the very least, let people in other countries know that you have an issue with this.
Which,
You know,
by the way, the oh, it's our government thing just feels very American.
yeah, yeah,
And I will say this, just super last thing, and I know we got to get back to it. But the way that Israeli politics are gamed, and I'm not an expert by any stretch, but I do remember prior to like a couple of years ago, it was like 2020 or something like that. Netanyahu was defeated. He was replaced by another like opposition leader who was, you know, maybe a little bit more, you know, kind of like the Democrats, a little bit more, you know, statemanly and how he wanted to prosecute the same exact policies, but that's like the alternative. That's the rails that exist within their politics, at least as far as I can see from, you know, very far outside.
yeah. And I get that, and this is the fear I have about the United States is when the populace believes that they're under attack and they're living in a state of fear, which Netanyahu has done a great job of it. Some of it is warranted, but he's also done a great job of hyping it up. Like we're under attack by everyone around us wants us dead. Then the populace, his constituents are going to go, oh my God, we need a strong man to protect us because look, everyone's out to get us and we're under siege.
Yep. I mean,
and that's what I fear here in the United States.
It really is comparable in that way to 9/11. It really is, because
Yeah.
I mean, after 9/11, there was just this sort of like unquestioning, like pervading, just sort of attitude of you need to support, you know, it was a Bush administration at the time. Or the terrorists win. Like that was the
Yeah.
sort of thing that they would say. Like you need to make sure that you continue being a good capitalist subject, or the terrorists win. You know,
Yeah.
go to the mall or the terrorists win. Go see a movie or the terrorists win. It's like you
Yeah.
couldn't really like focus on, wait, why did this happen?
Yeah.
What's going on? Is this blowback for, you know, the past several decades of American policy that goes back to the overthrow of Mossadegh in the 1950s? Or
Yeah.
like don't think, just get to it, because those questions and those things, and like again, I believe in people. I believe that people can overcome this, and I'm an optimist generally. But like when faced with those kinds of big questions, at least for the very first time, it's like the movie They Live. I'm sorry to be a Zizek guy, but like if you ever saw the movie They Live with Rowdy Roddy Piper, he gets into this fight with Keith David over, because have you ever seen the movie?
No.
So basically, Roddy Piper is a guy, and he basically like has these glasses, and when he puts them on, he can essentially see through propaganda. And
Oh.
when he gets it, he like tries to put the glasses on Keith David, and they have like a big fight because he's resisting. He doesn't want to see it. It's essentially a metaphor for fighting against seeing the truth because it's too scary.
Yeah. Wow. If only we could have those glasses in the United States.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be in the situation we're in right now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So here I've like maybe about another minute of her.
Yeah.
Russia right now.
Is it
So
a
that people
genocide?
don't starve. I don't know that I'd use that term,
Why?
but it is violating the law of war.
Why don't you use the term though?
Because I think, it's, to me, do I think it's ethnic cleansing, which is what I think of in genocide? I don't know if it meets that definition.
So
The
even
future.
if you accept that they're committing a genocide, you still wouldn't cut off their aid?
I think that defensive aid and offensive aid are different things. The military part of this conflict is, for the most part, over. What they are doing,
Senator,
every single day is
Senator,
around aid, and they are hurting
They have
people around the
slaughtered over
delivery of
1,000
aid.
people who were starving people just
But
trying to get aid.
That is
I
not
know you
high,
know this.
That's not high intensity bombs. That's not the weapons that that we were talking about 2 years ago. This is a military that has a bad strategy.
A bad strategy. Just
Yeah.
bombing schools.
Bad strategy. Starving babies
Yeah.
to death.
Yeah.
You
I would
just
have
have a bad strategy.
Yeah.
Oh,
General Jeff,
her team was watching that and just going, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What did she just
There was a
do?
point where you can actually see it in the full video. Robert pointed it out last night when Saagar just like snaps his head to his computer and starts typing. That was probably texting back and forth through like WhatsApp or whatever with the team. It had to.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, they're saying you got to
Oh,
go.
you gotta go.
Yeah,
And they keep
I
tweaking in more
bet.
questions as it goes along. But no, like that was a lot of fun to watch. Just like one of the things when I talk to people about that like the reason I want people to watch that is not because it's boring, eat your vegetables, like you're gonna learn anything from this.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of, you get to see one of the most horrific and odious people in American politics get absolutely destroyed. This is an extremely cathartic video.
Yeah. Well, it also just it exposes them because on one hand she's saying, yes, Israel is trying to force Palestinians off their land.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are starving people just for the purpose of starving people. Yes, they're violating laws, they're violating norms. This goes against war doctrine. There's a dire need to get food in. But no, I'm not going to do anything about it.
Right.
So it's like, because you always wonder, like, do they just not know? Like, are they seeing something in their congressional data, or behind the scenes, or something from the military or CIA or intelligence agencies that are telling them something different than what we're seeing and hearing, and so they're acting accordingly?
Mm-hmm.
But no, she's aware of, knows every single thing that we all do, and still refuses to do what's right.
And she tries to play dumb. She has more information than any of us have, and she tries to play dumb on a lot of these things. It's so
Yeah.
crazy that she would try and do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it so crystallizes the realization that these either are people who are bought and paid for, or there's compromising material out there, and they're acting, accordingly.
Or there's just a foreign policy consensus that has existed in this country since the end of the Second World War that really. Again, I'm not trying to say that they're like a deep state where they show, a different angle of the JFK assassination or anything like that.
Mhm.
But there are forces that exist within the country, foreign policy experts who have been doing this for their entire careers, advisors on this thing who have basically advanced the sort of American imperialist project since the end of the Second World War. And they're essentially, there is a military establishment. I'm not going to say it's like a deep state or whatever, but like that establishment informs the political consensus that exists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I just think so many of them are just ghouls.
Yeah.
They're just
Absolutely.
they're just void of any compassion or humanity, and it just I don't get it. But like I said, even just cynically, politically, what do you want to lose your job? Like what is going on? So anyway, I also wanted to bring up, because I don't know if my audience saw this, but one of our American citizens was just taken hostage by the Israelis. So I'm going to bring this up. So for those who don't know, Chris Smalls, he was basically the guy who got the whole Amazon union thing rolling. I think he was, what was he, in New Jersey?
It was Staten Island, New York.
Okay. And yeah, so he got the first Amazon union rolling. They laughed at him, literally said, okay, do your worst, we'll see you. We'll see what happens. But yeah, he is the reason why there are so many thriving Amazon, unionized locations now. And so he decided he wanted to go on one of these flotillas, just like, what's her name? Oh my God, I can't think of her
Malala.
name. No.
No, I'm sorry. No, that wasn't Malala.
Uh,
It was oh my gosh, the young lady. It's a Swedish young lady.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I know. I can't think of it. I'm like brain fading.
Yeah.
So anyway, he goes on this flotilla, and they are in international waters. Like, they weren't even within Israeli waters yet. And the Israeli forces go and capture them, take their flotilla, go on board, grab everybody, take them as hostages, and then they beat the hell out of Chris Smalls.
Yeah.
So I think personally that they didn't know who Chris Smalls was, and that it would actually get a lot of press. But let me see if I can find the, let me see if I can find this.
Greta Thunberg, by the way. I cannot
Yes,
believe
Greta.
that, like my brain just farted.
I know, yeah, my brain froze up too. And it's funny because then I'll like think of it an hour later. It'll just pop into my head for no apparent reason.
I hate that.
Let me see. I'm going to read I want to read everybody the statement that was issued. So this was issued by the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, who sends these flotillas out to try to get aid into the Palestinian people, into Gaza. And so on Tuesday morning, this apparently happened, I think, on Saturday. So on Tuesday morning, they issued this statement that said, when he reached the Israeli prison, U.S. human rights defender Chris Smalls was physically assaulted by 7 uniformed individuals. They choked him and kicked him in the legs, leaving visible signs of violence on his neck and back. When his lawyer met with him, Chris was surrounded by 6 members of Israel's special police unit. This level of force was not used against any other abducted activists. We condemn this violence against Chris and demand accountability for the assault and discriminatory treatment he faced. So, yeah, he was the only black man on this flotilla, and he was the only one that they beat the hell out of. Gee, I'm sure that was just a coincidence, though.
Yeah, just they just like eeny, meeny, miny. Oh, the black guy, beat him up.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't think they realized who he was, or because they treated Greta Thunberg like completely different.
They didn't want to touch her.
Yeah, because they knew who she was. They knew, oh my God, this is going to get a lot of press. So they screwed up. They done messed up on this one.
Well, did this get press though? Has this gotten press?
Yeah, I know Breaking Point's reported on it this week. I think it was on MSNBC.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. I'll listen to Morning Joe in the morning as I'm feeding the dogs and getting my breakfast, because I like to hear different perspectives and see what's going on in that side of the political universe.
Okay, well, that's good.
But yeah, I think it was mentioned. If not there, it might have been on Like I know the Bulwark mentioned it,
Hmm.
you know, so more center right. Um, but yeah, so it is getting a little bit. It's not getting a ton,
Hmm.
but yeah, it is getting out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, that it takes a lot of courage to get
Yeah.
on a boat and travel over to, give aid. It's a very noble cause, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously, like the fact that Israel is preventing aid from getting into Gaza. Interesting how that works out.
Yeah.
And also, manhandling unarmed individuals like
Mm-hmm.
Chris Smalls and roughing him up. Obviously, solidarity with him, solidarity with the entire crew of
Yeah.
it was the Madeleine, was it? Or the Handela? I can't remember which one was which.
As the handler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Handela. The
Yeah.
first one was the Madeleine, and yeah, just hopefully, this at least sends a message. I'm not gonna be, pie in the sky and expect this to be the thing that ends everything, but
Right.
this
Right.
could be potentially something that again begins to fracture that genocidal consensus that exists not
Mm-hmm.
just in this country but in Israel. That the reason that people are critical of Israel, and this
Mm-hmm.
is again over and over again, it's not because they hate Jewish people, it's because
Right.
they hate violence and they hate ethno states, and I
Right.
would include myself in that. I don't think there should be a Jewish ethno state. I don't think any religion should have a theocratic state. I think that all people should have equal rights, and when somebody like
Mm-hmm.
Zoran Memdani comes out and says something like that and gets criticized for saying that, like when asked the question a million bazillion trillion times on the
Yeah.
campaign trail whether or not he supports Israel, he'll come out and he'll say, I support or not whether he supports Israel, whether Israel has a right to exist. He'll
Mm-hmm.
come out and he'll say he believes that it does, but as a state with equal rights. And
Yeah.
that is the key. We need to have a democratic state where all people have equal rights, so you don't have two classes of citizens. And
Mm-hmm.
that is the answer. You need to treat people evenly and
Yeah.
together, because that is the only way that you will not have bombs treated like falling on hospitals and mosques and
Right.
schools and neighborhoods. It's just like, and people
Yeah.
starving afterwards.
And if you want to do it that way, you want to have an apartheid state.
Yeah.
Okay, it's your country, you do it, but not on my dime.
No, you
Not
should
with
not be the
my
top
not
ally of the United States if you're
yeah,
an
not with
apartheid
my
state.
tax dollars.
Mhm. Like,
Yeah.
these are fairly common sense arguments that we're making here, but it's like so far from the American like political consensus right now that it's basically always like framed as though it's completely unrealistic. Similar to things
Yeah.
like Medicare for all, similar to, and I hate to make like obviously many people will benefit from it, but this is it is similar, but like apples and oranges in another way.
Yeah.
Like, you can believe that children should not, apartheid states should not exist, and children should not be murdered and starved, and
Yeah.
at the same time, maybe oppose Medicare for all or something. If you're, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, this
Yeah.
is like something that everybody should support, and it's so it's so heartbreaking to me to see that there are still people that'll come out in support of Israel, or talk about how any kind of criticism of Israel is anti-Semitism, because you're literally just doing the apartheid state's talking points.
Yeah. And I don't know if you caught this, but the Financial Times
Mm-hmm.
just reported, I think it was a couple days ago, that Donald Trump, in private conversations with one of his Jewish campaign donors, they didn't name the person, but they said that it was a very large dollar donor. So I don't know if it was Miriam Adelson, I don't know who it was, but that he warned this person that his MAGA base is turning on Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting.
I copied the quote. They said that Donald Trump told this donor, quote, "My people are starting to hate Israel." So even he's aware that
Mhm.
this is not going well. Yet I don't know if you saw this. I think I have the screenshot on this. So this just happened. A Republican Virginia Fox, I think she's she Louisiana? I forget where she is.
I don't know.
And then Democrat Josh Gottheimer, who's in New York, they both introduced a bill, and this has the most ironic name ever. It's called the Protect Economic and Academic Freedom Act of 2025. So here's why I say it's ironic. This bill would allow the government to pull funding from any university that boycotts Israel or Israeli companies.
Economic freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. And academic freedom,
Academic
even more
freedom.
important.
That's
Yeah.
what I meant. But yeah.
So here's what it said in the Sludge report, quote, the bill would require colleges to annually certify that they will not engage in a non-expressive commercial boycott of Israel or companies and other entities licensed by Israel. Any university that refuses to do business with Israeli entities other than for a valid business reason would be ineligible for Title IV financial aid programs, including Pell Grants and student loans.
So they're taking anti-BDS laws that exist for public workers in certain states like Texas, and they're applying that to universities and calling it academic freedom. Incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not an Orwell guy. Like, I think his books are kind of like a little bit on the nose, but wow, like, this is Orwell.
It's insane. It is insanity. I mean, this isn't to protect U.S. companies, which even that would be a bridge too far. It would be like, why do you have a say over what universities, what companies they have to do business with?
Mm-hmm.
But even more extreme and absurd is that this is for the benefit of a foreign country and their foreign companies.
Yeah.
The more that they pull this shit, the more I hate Israel.
Yeah.
I mean, if what they're trying to do is buoy support for Israel, they're doing the entire opposite, the absolute opposite.
I want to make a point, and like, this is really like, part of the reason you just mentioned a moment ago that Trump is saying to his high dollar donors, Israeli donors, that they're turning on Israel. The reason that they're turning on Israel is because it's because obviously a lot of his base is like already anti-Semitic, but like, when you see the quote unquote the Israelis, the Jewish state, quote unquote, basically having a huge influence over major parts and major functions of the American government, you're not going to beat at least not among the already anti-Semitic people. You're not going to beat the allegations of the conspiracy Jews control the government people. You're just not going to do it. And so the people that are turning on Israel, are not turning on Israel because they think that they think that, like, oh, we need to save Palestinians again. I'm not, I've said this over and over again, but they're doing it because they want to. They essentially don't want the Jews controlling the government, and they also want that money that is being spent on this sort of like, this unworthy cause, in their opinion. They want that spent on, again, ICE detention centers and militarized police.
Yeah. Whereas we on the left want it spent on, universal health care.
Good stuff instead of bad stuff.
Yeah. Like,
forgive student loans,
college education. The safety nets for the working poor. I mean, yeah, that's why when people go, oh, there's an extreme on the left and an extreme on the right, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
The leftist extremist people are all on Twitter with anime avatars, and they scream at Bernie Sanders all day. Like, that's where the extremists on the left are.
Yeah.
You want to talk about how AOC is like the chief Zionist in the world, or something like that, or how Zoran Mandani is like essentially trying to like water down any kind of Palestinian liberation movement or whatever. Like, those are the people that are the like extreme left, and it's like 24 people.
Yeah. I have said before that I think we need new definitions, because today's moderate, quote unquote, is very different. Like
Mhm.
today, what I consider to be today's moderate is more of a populist,
Mhm.
is more of a help the people. I think that spans, across the board. Like so
Mhm.
many people can come together on wanting help for
Mhm.
medical bills and health insurance and making sure people are fed and making sure there's a living wage and making sure people can afford housing. And, I think that that's such a unifying message.
And
Um,
also attacking the billionaires and the billionaires that control this country. I mean, like again,
yeah.
I'm from Louisiana. I've seen all the Huey Long videos. You ever saw how many people have been to a barbecue and the Mr. Rockefeller comes. They take all the food for their kids
Mm,
and their kids, and there's not enough
yeah.
for anybody else to eat, and you got to tell them to come back over here and put
Yeah.
that back on table.
Yeah. I
Those Huey Long
just,
speeches are incredible, by the way. What a figure.
yeah. Yeah. I just think, the caricature of the far left
Mhm.
is so crazy. Whereas the accurate version of the far right
Which is
is,
legitimized, by the
yeah.
way. It was like constantly legitimized, and like when you make big balls or whatever, this like internet
Yeah.
like Nazi or whatever, a key person in Doge, or like you take
Yeah.
those people, they're giving them jobs, and then you also see at the very same time that like the Democrats are like, oh wow, we will never ever go and talk on Hassan Piker's podcast or whatever. We would
Yeah.
never. Like you lucky you got anybody on Breaking Points.
I know, and her reason for going on there was so hysterical. Like, oh well, my team said, we it's probably a good idea, when they pitched it to me. It's like, so you don't even know, like you weren't even aware of this show that is
Mhm.
so consequential nowadays
Mhm.
in politics in America. Like,
They didn't even watch
what are
it.
you
They didn't even
doing?
watch it. If they would have watched it, they would have saw Crystal Ball argue with Saagar about this or that point, or argue
Yeah,
with whoever about this and that point, because she
yeah,
is like, quite frankly, she's a fighter.
yeah,
And again, I mentioned that like she kind of looks like a normal TV host or whatever,
right.
but she is a real true fighter, and people I guess underestimate her because of
Hmm.
that. And I
Yeah.
think honestly, in a lot
I
of ways,
think attractive women are always underestimated.
yeah, no, totally.
It's,
It's
oh,
like
well,
a
you
sexism
can't
thing.
be pretty and smart.
Yeah, wow, yeah, come on,
You
two
can't
things.
like actually have morals and character and ethics and,
It's
you,
ridiculous, right? It's so
yeah,
stupid.
yeah,
But
you must be shallow.
yeah,
I mean,
we're gonna talk about like having a glass of wine with breakfast or something. I don't
yeah.
know. But like yeah, or what kind of sandwich they like when Netanyahu goes on the Nelk Boys podcast and then with a hot dog
Hmm.
sandwich or something,
Oh my
or
God.
a hot dog, it was McDonald's or Burger King.
Yeah, yeah, that was ridiculous.
Hmm.
That was, and that shows that Netanyahu understands that the sentiment is turning against him.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you heard, he tried to get on Rogan's show.
Ooh, at least
Yeah, and Joe
like,
Rogan turned him down. Joe Rogan was like,
good on him.
"No."
I'm critical of Rogan. I used to be a heavy Rogan listener like a
Hmm.
long time ago, back before he like completely lost his mind, and he had
Yeah.
a lot of bad opinions back then too. But like, and honestly, he also endorsed Bernie Sanders
Hmm.
in the 2020 election. So like,
Yeah.
obviously, he
Yeah.
was a mixed bag. Now he's more on the sort of like right wing brain side, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
like, credit where credit's due. I mean, good job. You
Yeah.
turned down you did not interview Hitler on your show.
Yeah. I know that whole Nelk boys thing was
Yeah,
just like
those
was
guys are
so
dumb.
so embarrassing for them. My my brother
Their
once.
audience flipped on them.
Oh, I know. Yeah, left and right were
Mhm.
just like on the attack with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had the thought of when we were kids. I don't even remember what my cousin did, but my brother looked at her and he goes, "You don't even know how embarrassed she should be right now." It just stuck with me. And so that's what I was thinking of them when they did the Netanyahu interview. I was
Mhm.
like, oh dear, you don't even know how embarrassed you should be right now.
That's awesome.
Oh my God. So yeah, but that's where we are. We just have a lot of feckless leaders on the Democratic side who don't, once again, they don't understand the moment we're in with Trump. They don't understand the moment we're in with the MAGA Republican Party. They don't understand the moment we're in with the genocide and Israel. They just don't get it.
I want to give them a little bit of credit here from the perspective of I think they do identify the moment. I think, and I don't mean to like contradict what you're saying or whatever, you might be right. But like the alternative is they do identify the moment and they're doing everything they can to roll it back, to prevent this change from happening. That's why they're digging their claws in so hard because they can feel that the times are changing and they are doing everything they can do to maintain the status quo, because that's what Democrats always do.
Yeah, now that I think about it, you are correct, because I mean they did it with Bernie.
Yeah,
they've done it with
they busted out every trick in the book, every tool in the tool chest to stop Bernie, because he is a threat to their position as the center left or whatever. He would essentially create a fundamental political change where they would essentially become either completely irrelevant or just become the right wing.
Yeah. Well, and it's going to stop their cash flow. I mean, that's really all they care about, the establishment Democrats.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you see Slotkin and Matt Iglesias and Glusenkamp Perez and all of these freakazoids going up to do this like welcome fest and all this like abundance bullshit that they trying to push as I mean, all it is regulation and like finding or deregulation, I should say, on like building projects and like zoning laws and all this other crap. It's just framed as this transformative way to reimagine how government is done, but really it's just a safe program for wealthy industrialists.
Yeah, it cracks me up because on one hand you'll have these people who are like these guys like the Ezra Kleins, with their abundance BS, and they recognize that like Donald Trump is corrupt and so many business leaders and so many corporations are corrupt. And then they'll say, oh, but we need to go with the abundance mind frame and deregulate so that companies can do what they want.
That's a right-wing policy.
But you just said that they're corrupt, so we're gonna trust them to do the right thing. We're gonna trust them to do their own investigations about air, water, and land, and not run afoul of harmful practices and building where they shouldn't be building and causing danger and death and destruction. Like,
we already got enough of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, how's that working out in Texas?
Yeah.
I mean,
the power grid.
Or Louisiana. I mean, you've got horrific just air quality, the worst in the nation, because they have allowed these factory farms to be built right next to people's homes.
Factory farms and oil and gas.
Yeah. But I mean, you literally have shit pits. There are literally pits the size of multiple football fields that are filled with like pig manure and urine, and people can't even walk out of their homes and breathe freely. Like the ammonia in the air is so bad. And how is that working out? They have one of the highest incidents of cancer in the country.
Cancer Alley. I used to live in Jeff Barrois, which is right by there.
Oh my God. Yeah. Horrific. So let's do more of that. Let's deregulate. Let's let these corporations just, run wild and do whatever the hell they want. I'm sure that'll work out great for the American people.
It's already done so well. It's already
we already have living examples of it. Like, oh my gosh. We're
Well,
so screwed.
and you know what though? Like now I can ask Grok to read to tell me the news in a pirate voice, so it's all worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can make my AI photos of Melania digging Trump's grave. So
Yeah,
we're
which
good.
also destroys the planet as well. So that's cool too.
Yeah, yeah. True. Yeah. I know. I don't think that the American people have really grappled with or fully understand the water requirements, the, danger this
Cooling the
poses,
servers, yeah.
electricity necessary for these AI facilities. I mean, I don't think they get it yet.
Honestly, I think the best argument against AI is that the content is, I mean, like all that stuff is true that you're saying, but the shit that it produces is so bad. It's just
Yeah.
why would you want this? Like,
Yeah.
why would you want this shitty AI as opposed to like somebody who is a real person who has real talent that puts their heart and soul in whatever the medium is? Like, it's so
Yeah.
crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, they're even selling. I don't know if you go on these sites, but like I have a subscription for Shutterstock because,
Okay.
for my thumbnails on YouTube, I
Sure.
have to use images. And so I'll go on there looking for images, and people are now creating and selling AI generated images.
And people will buy them, I'm sure,
Yeah,
even though
and
you
they
can make it
cost
yourself.
the same amount as like a photographer going out and taking a photo of famous people or,
Hmm.
and politicians that you need for your thumbnails. It's like, no, this person spent the time, they bought the equipment, they had the right lighting, like they put effort into this. And you've got some, random person on the internet creating an AI image
Hmm.
and they get the same amount of money. Like it's just but bullshit.
Hmm. Yeah, it's cheating in a sense, and again,
Yeah.
also even all that work that one person puts in to go in and get that photograph, and it's still probably more economical in the sort of like emissions sense than it is to
Mm.
than it is to do it on AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're deregulating
Uh,
it now, so we are super fucked.
oh, I know. Yeah. And that's another thing that Marjorie
Oh,
Taylor Greene is on the right side of, she's speaking out against AI and saying that it's bad for the environment and bad for jobs and blah, blah. And it's like, Democrats, where are you on this? Like, speak up, step up to the freaking mic.
well, I know Slotkin is a crypto person. I know a lot of these Democrats
Mm.
are crypto people. What's her name in New York City?
Oh,
Gillibrand,
Kirsten Gillibrand.
Kirsten
Yeah. Yeah.
Gillibrand,
Yeah.
huge up in the AI. I mean,
Yeah.
in the
She
AI
has turned
crypto.
into such a huge disappointment.
Cory
I mean,
Booker, he's another one, big
yeah.
crypto guy. It's just all these people that have just, and again, this is. I'm a labor guy. I'm a union guy, right?
Hmm.
Um, it is a place for the wealthy to essentially deposit their wealth that isn't
Hmm.
going to people. It's another abstraction from reality for them to invest in rather
Yeah.
than paying their workers. They
Yeah.
have all these profits, profit every year, record profits, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Every
Hmm.
year, you see that, and then you also have, even in this country, the wealthiest country in the world. I sound like I'm Bernie again, but like, the wealthiest country on earth in the history of the world. And, we have people that can't afford housing. We have people that can't
Yeah.
afford food. We have people that can't afford, I mean, even go to college. I mean, like, again, it's not exactly the same thing. I think everybody's education should be free for everybody. But
Hmm.
like, there is tremendous wealth in this country, and every time the political class and the leaders of this country sort of like turn out their pockets and they're like, oh no, how are we going to pay for that? It's like, no, we have the
Yeah.
wealthiest people that have ever existed in the history of the world. We need to just sort of, we need to actually look at those, that low hanging fruit and juice it
Yeah.
straight up. I mean,
Yeah.
you're letting the fruit run the government. You're letting them run you, and that's the problem. It's not run by people.
Yeah. No, and I think the
Definitely not work.
danger that Democrats are flirting with is like another status quo Democrat that is just going to lead to the next Trump.
You mean you're not going to buy Kamala Harris's new book,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
I
is
mean,
107, which if you just put a
I tell
strategic
you.
slash in there, it's just
Mhm.
October 7th, which
Oh, that's true, huh? Yeah. That's so true. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, between her and Gavin Newsom,
Mhm.
and, I'll see comments in my comment section. Oh, I get Gavin Newsom has some, stuff going on, but what,
He's a
he's,
vampire.
he's
Don't trust
way
him.
better than Trump. It's like a freaking ham sandwich is better than
Yeah.
Trump, and
Yeah.
I don't eat meat.
Yeah.
So, what does that prove? It's like, so you want to be back here again in 4 years. You guys want to do the, minimal nibbling around the edges, not getting shit done for the American people, not showing the American people what the Democratic Party could and should stand for,
Mhm.
and giving them a better way of life, making their lives better in some way. You want to get some milk toast, middle of the road, bullshit, corporate paid Democrat again. And then you're all going to have a freaking meltdown in 4 years when we've got JD freaking Vance in the
Mhm.
White House.
Yeah, well, again, they want to provide the absolute minimum that they can while maintaining the stability of the system. That's what Democrats'
Yeah.
function in our society is at this point. It's
And I get the
unacceptable.
leaders doing that, but I don't understand where the disconnect is with the voters. I don't understand why Democratic voters,
Mhm.
by and large, don't get this. That
Paucity
they
of
don't.
options, perhaps. I mean, that really kind of is what it is. I mean, you do have only certain cases where people do run, but they are, in a certain sense, demoralized when you see, for example, India Walton win her primary in Buffalo for mayor, right? This was a couple of years ago, and
Mhm.
the Democratic establishment line up against the opponent that she defeated
Mhm.
in that primary. And so people are just like, well, fuck this entire system. Like, I'm not fucking
Yeah.
around with it. I mean, you're seeing it right now with Zoran. You see in that interview that we just watched with Elissa Slotkin, she wouldn't commit to supporting Zoran Mamdani, even though he won hit, and she rolled out all the bullshit, crazy New York, whatever. Why won't you
Yeah.
criticize Chuck Schumer and
Hakeem.
Hakeem
Yeah.
Jeffries, who are both New York politicians, both New York City? Why don't
Mhm.
they have an endorsement of her, of of Zoran?
Yeah.
And like, that is the thing. You have this system that make, like, the Democrats are very good, winning or losing elections. The one thing that they're very good at is putting a stop to even the conception that change is possible. Any kind of positive change is
Mhm.
possible, and that is what their function is. They want to maintain the system
Mhm.
as it is, and prevent any kind of actual change.
Yeah, and I understand that there's a portion of the Democratic
Mhm.
base, like the younger
Mhm.
people, typically the more progressive people, saying, "Screw it, they're never going to let me have the candidate of my
Mhm.
choice. They're always going to put their jackboots on my neck,
Mhm.
and stop any change from happening." But
Mhm.
then there's a certain segment of the left, which, is almost like the blue MAGA side,
Mhm.
the vote blue no matter who people,
Mhm.
who just go, oh, well, this person is better than Trump. And, we just have to elect the most electable person. And, this is someone who speaks properly
Mhm.
and says all the right things about Trump. So I'm not going to look too deep into their background
Mhm.
to see how much corporate cash they're taking and how corrupt they are. And those are the ones that I'm more referring to, that
Mhm.
they don't
Yeah.
understand. Like, it's like taking it's like a Band-Aid for a you
Bullet
know,
wound.
yeah, bullet wound. I mean, it's just, you're just covering up the symptom for the moment.
Yeah.
You're not actually curing the patient. What's going to cure the patient is a complete overhaul and a visionary, someone getting in there who can go, no, why is it so hard? But yeah, we can do universal health insurance. Like what? Why not?
I will
When we're-
say, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say, like, when we're giving billions of dollars a year to freaking Israel, to come back to that, why can't we give our own people health insurance? You know, we need leaders who say, why not, instead of, oh, we can't.
Yeah.
So those are the Democrats I'm referring to, the ones who have bought into the rhetoric from the corrupt Democrats in Congress, in our leadership, quote unquote.
Yeah. Well,
leadership.
the one thing I will say to that is, and this is probably why people are hesitant to line up behind somebody who is that potential leader. That could be Zoran, it could be somebody else. But like we had that, at least, when I was young, we had Obama coming up, and that was exciting. And he said all the stuff, and then when he got into power, he didn't deliver on fucking shit. He didn't do any of that stuff. He just basically just governed like a fairly left of center Democrat would, better than the average, I suppose. But like all the stuff that he said, he compromised on the the health plan, Obamacare, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
He and I guess when you see all of that hope and all of that energy and all of those people going to all of those doors and all of the social media posts and all of the stuff that lined up behind Obama, making it seem like he was actually gonna fix things. And then, he delivers on not even a fraction of that. Then people just become like, well, screw this system. And then, when he's done, your option is Hillary Clinton, who is just like the paragon of establishment, essentially, versus, the guy who basically says all the crazy stuff and basically, is like, fuck the haters guy, a middle finger to the establishment. People take that. That's how you have these people that go from, Obama to Trump, and then, Trump.
Yeah, because they're desperate. They're desperate for change, and that's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to get across to the people. Like I voted for Obama. I voted for Hillary Clinton begrudgingly because I was a Bernie supporter. But the people who I'm more referring to are the people who still think that Obama was a great president.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Who still think that is, and not that he didn't do anything good. I mean, I think it was Andrew Schultz who made this point the other day, that like people with pre-existing conditions were pretty damn happy.
Health coverage,
I being one of them.
And they expanded Medicaid. They expanded Medicaid, which is incredible, and they just cut.
Yeah. So it's not to say that he didn't do anything good, but again, it was nibbling around the edges. It was, I'll give you these few little crumbs, but then when it comes down to holding the banks accountable for destroying our economy, causing millions of Americans to lose their homes, I'm not going to hold them accountable. And so the fact that we still have Democrats in this country who won't acknowledge that and go, no, Obama was perfect and he walks on water and he was the best thing ever, and that's what we need again, is another Obama. Those are the people that I am just like, if you keep thinking this way, you're gonna keep us in this place. We are going to be dealing with another Trump and another Trump and another Trump every 4 fucking years. Because we're gonna have maybe Gavin Newsom, and people are going to go, well, that sucked, and he didn't do anything he promised, and we're still not in good shape, and the rich are still getting richer, and the average American is still, sucking wind. So let's go for the next crazy on the right. and then we'll do it. We'll do this all over again, and we're just going to end up in this same cycle.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the people that I need, that I like want to take by the shoulders, like have a yeah, like have one of those moments like on the movie Airplane. It's like, you know, shaking him and slap him across the face, like, you know.
Yeah. I think those people, this is gonna have to be my last point, but I do have to go. But I think those people have largely foreclosed in part because of Obama, and you know, in addition to, you know, the Medicaid expansion rather, and the pre-existing conditions, like the price to pay for that was essentially a complete and utter legitimization and implementation of the healthcare insurance companies as a part of our healthcare system. But like those people, just to circle back, those people that have sort of like they want they kind of like think of fondly of Obama, they've essentially foreclosed on things actually becoming ever better, and they just remember the vibes of Obama. And I don't think it's something that's impossible, you know, be it through shaking and slapping, or be it through just like, you know, long, you know, discussions and really good organizing, which is like key to a lot of this stuff. And Democrats, especially establishment Democrats, are fucking terrible at that.
Yeah.
They're you know, they organize the political class, they organize the media class, but when it comes to, I mean, when it comes to getting to doors, I mean, Sanders, AOC, Tlaib, Omar, and Zoran are the model. I mean, they had in Zoran's campaign, they hit 1.5 million doors. That's insane on a largely like dominantly volunteer run campaign. That's crazy, and that's in a primary. And he got more votes than any primary victor in New York City history, and they're still trying to undermine him.
Yeah.
So the reason, I think, just to answer your question, that they're like that, they're the way that they are, is because essentially they don't think a better world is possible at this point, and we need to prove them wrong.
I think you're right with some people. I do think that there's a certain segment, though, who is also older, more established, and doing okay in life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That just don't get it. That they're like, well, I'm fine, and because I honestly, I had that thought. I was like, yeah, I was doing okay. I mean, we had some issues, major issues.
You got mine, folks.
Yeah. We had major issues because my husband and I at the time were both, we owned a mortgage bank. We were co-owners of a mortgage bank, the majority owners. So totally destroyed our business at the end of the Obama administration.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah. And well, no, I mean, thanks Bush, really, because it was his policies and Clinton that led to the financial crash, and, you know, the bubble bursting, and, you know, all the games that they were playing on Wall Street with the repackaging of the
shit bonds,
the loans, the mortgage bonds and stuff, or mortgage loans. But you know, even still, I came out of that okay. I mean, we did lose a shit ton of money. We were both working in the mortgage and real estate industry at that time, so like our income just evaporated overnight almost. We were flipping properties, that was gone. So it did harm us, but still, you know, there's a lot of people who didn't go through that, didn't experience it in that way. And I think that they look at it and they go, oh yeah, well, some people lost their homes or almost lost their homes and had their, you know, businesses destroyed and blah, 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 but I'm okay. And, you know, I just think that he's great, and he spoke so well.
That's
You know, I mean,
that's so racist.
I know you hear that all the time. Oh, he spoke so. I don't even know if some people are saying it in a racist way. I think compared to Trump, you know,
he's very polished. Like Obama was very polished and very relatable.
Yeah, and when you compared him to what came next.
And then you have Trump, who's cutting wrestling promos all the time.
Yeah. I mean, Trump with his, you know, Obama and his like
He is look,
Troth Central.
he is very good at insult comedy. I will say that.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think there's just a lot of people still like that
Scales on the
who
rise. Yeah.
just don't get it. They think that that is the model. That's what we want to get back to. I don't think they've grappled yet with the fact that we're not ever going back to a regular traditional political system and
No,
politician.
not for a while. Not for probably the
No.
rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Do you think that those people are also afraid that with the certain like political instability that exists, that they would lose their position if a Bernie Sanders or somebody like that would come in? Do you think that's why they're opposing it?
No, I think that a lot of them watch mainstream news.
Mhm.
I think that they will buy anything that they're told on those sites, much like, the right believes everything on Fox and Newsmax and, Steve Bannon show and
They're watching too much
Tommy
TV.
Lawrence. What was that?
They're watching too much TV, like in Batman Forever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that when MSNBC hosts say Bernie Sanders cannot win,
Mhm.
this will be a blowout. Like Donald Trump is a shoo-in if Bernie Sanders is the nominee. I think they believe that.
Mhm.
I think they truly they don't step out of their bubble much like MAGA doesn't step out of their bubble, and they don't understand that no, actually, if you really drill down, most people, like every single person I knew, said, I am a huge Bernie supporter. I want Bernie to win, but I just don't know if he can win. And so I'm going to vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
In 2020, I'm not joking. Every person I talked to, every person I knew online said the same damn thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, where are you getting? Do you all understand that you're all saying the same thing, which means that if we all voted for him, he would win? Like, where's the disconnect here?
And then when Bernie does win, like Nevada, you have like mainstream media figures like Chris Matthews saying that he's like
Yeah.
the German army storming.
Yeah,
into France.
that he's going to be dragged out in the
He's a
street and
Nazi.
shot.
Oh my
I know. Like, freaking insanity.
Like American media is so awesome.
Oh my God. It's so ridiculous.
All right.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I gotta jump, but thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I know we ran long and we started a little late, so I apologize.
We had a
But
great
yeah,
conversation. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Tell everyone again where they can find you and on social media as well.
Yeah. On Twitter, you can find me, or in Bluesky or whatever, at Eminent Prof, EMINENTPROF. You can find Good Morning Comrade at Comrade Morning. You can go to Good Morning Comrade to find all of our information about where to find us otherwise, and you can listen to us over the radio if you live in New Orleans, 102.3 FM in the New Orleans area. WHIVFM.org/listen anywhere in the world. We come on 10 o'clock on Saturdays. And yeah, YouTube, Twitch, all the stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for having me, Gina. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. This was fun, and I hope you'll come back, and we'll definitely
Totally.
have to hook up over on this space as well.
Absolutely. I'm already talking to some folks on this space. I think Alex, the Devil's Advocate, he's a really nice guy, and I think we're going to be
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, I had him on about a week or two ago.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
I love guys who actually understand. I love people that understand comics. So like it was between him and like Matt and like some of the folks over there. Maybe you know, that's good.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you so much. This was fun, and we'll have to do it again.
Right. Cool. Nice talking with you.
You too.